Hello and welcome to Veracity Mentors PTE. These 10 tips can boost your score by 10 points, even if you're at the same level of English proficiency. Always remember the 3-second rule. The microphone will switch off automatically if you're silent for more than 3 seconds during an answer in the speaking section. You can find this under the FAQs section at the official website pearsonpte.com. Now, even though most of you are aware of the actual time limit that is given for attempting each question, you might lose track of the pre-time limits. Now, pre-time limits are very crucial in not just actually attempting the test, but also your preparation strategies that you will undertake before the test, right? For instance, for every read aloud question, you have 35 to 40 seconds, right? So you can actually use that time to read the words in your mind, make sense of the paragraph to give the correct emphasis, right? And so you have sufficient time to read aloud. It's not really a zone of too much concern. Repeat sentence, you have no time. It'll just take a second or two for the recording to stop and the mic to then start recording your attempts. You have no time for repeat sentence. If you are preparing for repeat sentence, that you listen to an audio, you pause it, then you are taking 10 seconds before you begin your answer, you are preparing wrong. Okay, that means you're not actually preparing for the real PTE test, right? Okay. Describe image, you have only 25 seconds to look at that image and then begin talking, right? Okay. And keeping the 3-second rule in mind, that means 25 seconds and then the recording starts, and then within 3 seconds of that you must start. So you can say, okay, fine, you have 27 seconds maximum, that's it. You don't have anything beyond that. So if you are looking at a graph or an image while you're practicing and you're looking at it for 1 minute or 2 minutes, or if you start writing a paragraph before you begin speaking or before you begin responding, you will really face a lot of trouble in the test because you will not be mentally ready for that kind of a challenge, right? Retell lecture. After every lecture, you get 10 seconds before the recording starts. Again, you don't really have too much time there to write whole paragraphs or like actually, in that time, whatever you can do. So basically, you have to prepare according to the pre-time limits. What is the amount of time that you have before the recording starts? That is how you should prepare your strategy. So a lot of time when you are doing your practice, I see that students are just giving themselves way too much time, right? Get into the habit of doing impromptu questions, right? Take 0 seconds, because if you are good at handling any sort of question with 0-second preparation, right, that means in the actual test you will not get flustered, you will not get nervous. PT is more a mind game, rather than just a test of your English as well, right? So that's very important. Same thing with the last one on speaking, that is your short answer question. Again, no preparation time limit. The question stops, the recording starts, and you must answer in 1, 2 or maximum 3 words, right? Nothing beyond that, right? So be aware of the pre-time limits for each and every question. That is very, very crucial. Now, in terms of the response time for the speaking section, this again, the awareness of this response time is again going to help you frame your answer better and perform better, right? Time yourself whenever you are practicing. Use a timer, use your mobile phone, use some kind of stopwatch system, whatever it takes, right? Okay, just don't prepare blindly. Just knowing how to solve a question is not enough on the PT, especially if you're looking at a 79 plus score, right? So you might be stuck on the 70s and wondering how should I cross that 80 barrier, right? This here is going to help you, right? Read aloud 35 to 40 seconds. So if that paragraph is too long and if you're speaking too slowly, that is a problem. Your answer must finish, right, within 40 seconds, right? Okay, as per allocated. Each question is going to have an allocated time, whether it is 35 seconds or 40 seconds according to the question. Individual timing is going to be written on top. Make sure that you read those directions. Repeat sentence, the response time is given as 15 seconds, right? Again, let's understand this in terms of the 3-second pause rule, okay, and the pre-response time strategy. So you have a repeat sentence, an audio recording that plays, okay. It is going to be around 5 to 10 seconds long, okay. Then it stops. Then the microphone switches to current status recording. That means now you have to speak. So within the first 3 seconds, if you cannot start speaking, what can you do? You can make a sound, because only silence is going to shut off the mic. So as long as you're not silent, it's not a problem. So say say something so that the mic does not get shut off, and complete your answer within 15 seconds. So you need to know this kind of response time. Otherwise you'll be talking and the time might expire and it'll be a problem. Same way, describe image 40 seconds, but you have a tendency to go to 41 or 42, or you might not be aware of how long you're speaking, right? Because the timer in the test shows in the form of bars, right? It doesn't actually show seconds, right? Therefore, the last bar, before that you should finish, and each bar is roughly equivalent to 1 to 2 seconds. So make sure that you're finishing before the recording time expires. Therefore, aim to finish your answer within 38 seconds. Okay, this makes sure that we are not taking a 3-second pause. Okay, and also ensures that your answer is actually not going to exceed the time limit, which is actually a very common thing across students who are not aware of the timings or who are not prepared properly. Same with written lecture. Again, 40 seconds you have to summarize the whole lecture in your own words. Therefore, again, finish within 38 seconds. Know the bars, right? Take the mock test, that you're aware how this timer thing looks like in the test. If you're not aware of it, if you're not taking any mock test, then it's a huge problem, right, for you, because the test, when you then go and take it, especially your first attempt, you might be very unfamiliar with it, right? And it will unsettle you and you might get nervous, and it will lead to all sorts of problems, right? Same way, answer short question, the response time is 10 seconds. Therefore, you must give the 1-word answer or 2-word answer before the 10 seconds expire, right? Okay, and if you're taking longer time, again, if you're taking 3 seconds or more to think of the answer, just like make sounds something, right? But don't say an extra word, right? Okay, so there are a lot of detailed in-depth strategies that you would require to understand how the speaking section works, right? So I would recommend that get feedback from a trainer, take scored mock tests. They are the only things that will give you clarity about these pre-time limits and the response time limits, right? And then you worry about the content. So the first thing is the time limits, okay, and the second thing is the content, and then how to attempt the question and all that other things, right? Okay, now let's come to the writing section. You might think that you actually have 10 minutes to write one summary, but you actually don't. You have only 5 minutes to type the summary. You should be able to type around 30-word summary, single sentence, right, in 5 minutes, because it will take you around 2 to 3 minutes to read the passage. Don't take more than 3 minutes to read the passage. If you take more than 3 minutes to read a passage, then definitely work on your reading speed, right? This is something that you would normally not think of, but knowing the limits and knowing how crucial they are to your score actually will help you in your preparation, right? Use the last 2 minutes to fix the errors, some grammatical errors, spelling errors, you missed out some point, some kind of revision that you need to make, right? Make sure that you do that, because spelling errors are actually going to lead to a loss of points, right? So please make sure that you split your timing like this. And if your summary actually exceeds by it actually exceeds 40 words, then you are likely to get a much lower score, because the software again rewards short and concise summary. For reference, use the PTE official material and look at the sample answer C2 level or C1 level that they have provided, and look at the length of that answer. It's a single sentence, right? And it's not a paragraph. Okay, it's 30 to 40 words. That is what the software wants. If you can keep it well under 30 words, that's the best. But even if you can't do that, 40 words is also great. Yeah? But don't exceed 40 words. It's very crucial to your score. Again, this brings us to the next question, which is your essay writing. You might think that you have 20 minutes, but you don't. You only have 15 minutes to type the essay. Do not type more than 245 words in any case, because again, the software does not like wordiness. If you write 300 words, if you exceed 245 words, there will be a lot of errors. You might just be repeating so many points. You will lose marks for repetition, for wordiness, for grammatical errors, for spelling errors, and all those kinds of things, right? Use the first 2 minutes to plan your points and your paragraph. There are marks, there are points allocated for the structure, right? Again, and in detail, you can learn the structure in class. Typing speed should be 215 words minimum, right? Okay, within 15 minutes. If your typing speed is less than that, then again you need to work on this while you're preparing for the test, right? And use the last 3 minutes to fix your errors, especially your spelling errors and other errors that you might spot. The number one score boosting strategy for the writing section is to remember that the skill known as written discourse also contributes to your score. Look up the dictionary meaning of the word discourse, right? An argumentative, persuasive, compelling speech. Okay, so if your essay is bland, or if it does not have an opinion, or it does not present a viewpoint validated or backed up by some examples, then it is not a discourse. Okay, right? So that's very important, that your opinion should come out very clearly. You must answer the question completely. You must answer all the parts of the question correctly, right? So the essay writing is the timing, right, is crucial, and understanding the concept of written discourse is very crucial, right, to your essay. Okay, coming to now the reading section, right? Your entire part 1, which comprises your speaking, writing and reading, will happen in one go, right? So I've written two things there, speed plus grammar, right? I'll just very quickly explain this. In the reading section, you can have around 18 to 20 questions, and you will get 36 to 41 minutes in total, right? The time will vary according to the number of questions, right? Now, the reading section is unique in the sense that it does not have individual time limits, right? Therefore, you are your own timer in this particular section. On an average, if we see that we have 18 questions and 36 minutes, or 20 questions and 41 minutes, on an average we have 2 minutes per question. That means your reading speed is going to be the biggest component in determining whether you're able to complete the section, whether you cross 65, and then whether you cross 79, right? So those two barriers you will not be able to cross if you're taking 5 minutes on one passage question, right? Passages are of two types, with single answer and with multiple answers, and then with further various different question types under those, whether they are summary questions, whether they are find the information question, right? Whether they are those kind of different kind of questions which need different strategies. The strategy that you need to learn is to have good reading speed on screen. Okay, when you read some passage or some book in the form of hard copies, you read it on paper, you will understand it better, right? But understanding things when you read them with the urgency of the time limits, right, and especially during the test and on the computer screen, you will not absorb it as well, right? So if you're not used to reading things on screen, right, during the test, again it will be problematic for you. In terms of difficulty level, I would say that the reading section on the PT is the most difficult to get a 90 on 90. A perfect score on the reading section is difficult just because that it is the most time challenging section, right? So the passages, right, should not take up most of your time. The passages are, if you see, just 2/5 of it, right? There are 3 more question types there, right? Reorder paragraphs. Again, you cannot spend 5 minutes rearranging those 5 sentences, right? It's not worth it. You will still get partial credit. 2 minutes is your limit for each question. You cannot exceed 2 minutes. That is the kind of preparation time that you're looking at. The next thing that I have written is grammar. Grammar is very crucial for both your fill in the blank questions. There are 2 types of fill in the blanks, drag and drop, right? So there are options below, and you click on the word and you drag it into the sentence and you put it there, right? And the second one, that is the list options. For each word there's going to be like a drop down menu which will open up, right, and you have to select that answer, right? Both of these are extremely scoring questions. In one question there are going to be 4 to 7 answers. So if you have to spend 5 minutes, spend 5 minutes here, because you will be getting way more points here, right? If your reading section is incomplete, you will not be able to cross 79 on your test, right? So completing the section is very crucial. Therefore you have to prioritize the time, right? Okay. So knowing your own speed and your attempt times is actually more important than anything else. Grammar is more important than anything else, not just vocabulary. People think that reading section is all about vocabulary. It is actually not. The fill in the blanks, Pearson actually tests your grammar usage. It tests your common usage. It tests your knowledge of prepositions and idioms. Okay, this happened 3 years ago or 3 years earlier. what will I select in the blank, it is a grammatical concept. It is not dependent on your vocabulary. PT does not really grill you or give you too difficult vocabulary. Yeah, the passages might look scary, but you don't need to understand those big words to get the right answer. Okay, so that is the difference that the strategy and the preparation timings can make, right? This brings us to the next section, which is your listening, and there are two things that I have written on top: notes plus foreign accents. So again, these score boosting strategies will boost your score straight up by 10 points, sometimes even 20 points if you follow them correctly, right? How strict you are with yourself in your preparation will reflect on the day of the final test. Listening section is pretty simple in terms of the time limits. The total section is roughly 45 minutes to 1 hour, and it happens after all the three sections after a 10-minute break. So you do get a 10-minute break, somewhat of a respite, okay, and then you can come back to it. So by the time that the listening section happens, you're already tired, you've gone through all the other sections, and listening section has all of these 8 different question types. The question to focus on is summarize spoken text. This will take half of your listening section. It is 10 minutes, right, per question, and there will be 2 to 3 summarized spoken text, right, where you hear an audio and you type out the summary. And again, there is a specific word limit and a time limit that you should follow for this, right? So out of 1 hour, if you say that, okay, listening section roughly is 1 hour, 30 minutes will be for summarized spoken text. If it is for 45 minutes, then again the 20 minutes will be for summarized spoken text. So still your writing and your ability to take notes and actually create a summary, still the most important component even of your listening section, right? The other thing is your ability to understand various foreign accents. There are 5 different kind of foreign accents that are used by the PTE for their audios, such as the British accent, the American accent, the African American accent, the Caribbean Jamaican accent, right? European accents can be used, or even Asian accents, right? So but mainly the British and the American accents are the ones that are used, right, most prolifically. So make sure that you are actually familiar with these accents, and when there is a fast-paced audio clip, right, you are able to understand that, right? So make sure that you expose yourself to these accents. You can watch English news channels and expose yourself to that, but that's a very long-term strategy to improve. So the short-term strategy is to actually watch TED Talks, right, because TED Talks have actually academic lectures, right? If you go to ed.ted.com, you will find a lot of academic lectures, and I'll also share the link with you guys. So just expose yourself to these kind of daily academic lectures, because watching a sitcom is not really going to help you. That'll have a lot of slang, that'll have a lot of different things which are not really directly in the short term going to help you immediately for your test, right? So if you have 10 days or 15 days for your preparation, make sure that you are utilizing the accent familiarization technique, right? Listen to those academic lectures 10 to 15 minutes every day while you're commuting or while you're studying, right? And they'll make a big difference. And the second thing is, on the listening section, take notes for everything. Okay, that's very important. You have those MCQs, which are your multiple choice questions, where you have either a single answer or multiple answers, and your ability to find that answer will depend on your speed of taking notes, your ability to keep up with the audio. Okay, there'll be a lot of facts and information, so make sure that just listening to the section you might forget things, so don't depend on your memory, please. Okay, that's very important. The other tricky question type is highlight correct summary, and this takes a lot of understanding of the strategy and how the questions are framed, because all the answers are going to be partially correct. In highlight correct summary, it will be very rare that an option choice will be something that is not a part of the audio, or that doesn't look like it is from the audio, or it's matching, right? So there will be a lot of partially correct options in your highlight correct summary, right? Therefore this question, again, it becomes a high weightage question because it's of a higher difficulty level, right? And I'll share soon the score map with you, where your accuracy on the higher difficulty level questions, right, actually determines your ability to score higher, right? Okay. Then the easy ones, that is your fill in the blank, listen to an audio, just type in the words, highlight the incorrect words, select missing word and write from dictation, right? They are low weightage, or they're pretty easy, right? And but of course you have to be familiar with them, right? That's all. So this is about the listening section. So again, let's look at the question type which occupies half of your listening section, right? Which is your summarized spoken text, right? Now again, if you want to get a good score, keep the word limit maximum to 50. If you go beyond that, again the scores are going to be low. The software does not like wordiness, right? And also longer word answers tend to break up grammatically, contain more errors and more spelling errors, and gives you less time for revision also, right? You can write 2 to 3 sentences, right? In contrast to the written summary, here you can actually, it's a little bit easier, your job is easier because you can write 2 to 3 different sentences. While the audio plays, the 10 minutes, right, for each question that are given is inclusive of the audio, right? So while the audio plays, take notes, take 5 minutes to type the summary. Again, you have only 5 minutes to type the summary, not 10 minutes, right? Okay, even lesser if the audio is a little bit longer, but generally the audio is not going to exceed 3 minutes. And take the last 2 minutes to revise, to proofread, to fix the errors, right? Okay, so make sure that you are deploying this strategy. Okay, we are on tip number 9. Are any questions repeated? Yes, a lot of the questions are actually repeated directly, right? Of course, the format of the questions is going to be the same, right? The sequence might change, right? The time limits are going to remain the same. Make sure that you go through all the free material on, the official Pearson website. Make sure that you take the scored mock test, whether, with Pearson, with any training center, whatever it is, but you should be completely and thoroughly familiar with the software, the time limits, the word limits, everything, okay? Because that actually is the thing that decides your score, okay? How good you are at English will not matter if you cannot type an essay in 15 minutes, right? Okay, so predictable questions, or questions that are more or less the same, okay? Describe image. The various types of graphs, pie charts, flow charts, tables, photographs, maps, everything that comes, you have a ready collection of those question types available. The exact question might be different, but the type is going to remain the same. So describe image is actually very, very predictable. It's not going to be too different from the official practice material, right? As well as we at Veracity Mentors have prepared a huge collection of material that covers all of your describe image questions, right? And of course, along with how to handle, because there are different strategies for different question types, whether it is a single graph, multiple graphs, right? Whether it's a photograph, there are slightly different things that you need to be doing in each question type. Answer short question is completely predictable. Again, there is an entire collection on YouTube that you can look for and go through all the answer short questions. There is a recent addition to the questions where they've started giving images now, right, which are similar to the images that slightly come on PTE General, right? So PTE Academic has now answer short questions which are based on science or common sense, right? Okay, maybe your geography, something like that. So it might seem a little tough, but if you're pre-prepared, the questions are actually similar. They don't really give you a lot of different or difficult questions in this case, right? And also, answer short question in the speaking section does not contribute to your speaking proficiency, right? Okay, it's just a one-word answer, right? So it does not really affect your fluency, your pronunciation, your speaking proficiency. Okay, it's a low weightage question in that sense. Essay writing is predictable. There is a set of 35 to 40 topics. There is a set of 6 themes. Nothing beyond that comes. There is only going to be a variation of themes. All the questions are easily predictable. You can be pre-prepared with all the essays. The 6 themes are science and technology, environment, education and employment, communication, society and culture, right? So you can see the topics related to global warming, right? Okay, what is the best invention of the 21st century and why do you think it is the best, right? What actions should governments take to actually reduce or tackle climate change, right? You'll see a very similar topic set coming in, and this is definitely available with us. We have the whole module including sample essays for each topic. Make sure that you go through that, because content is something that you can be ready with, okay? And the exact question, the prompt might be a little bit different, so make sure that you are reading that on the test. Definitely it might not be the exact question, but 80% of your sample essay you will be able to use, right, in the same thing, right? Okay, so for example, if I, let's say, take up the topic of technology, right? Let's look at the 6 different kinds of topics that come on the theme of technology. Question type 1, open-ended question, right? Like I already told you, what do you think is the best invention of the 21st century, right, and why? The second one, technology has changed human relationships. Do you agree or disagree? Right? Discuss. Right? Then should the government spend more on space research, or should it spend more on fighting poverty? Discuss. Right? So again, this is related to technology in a way. Right? Look at climate change. What is your favorite area of climate studies, and why? Again, you can say that my favorite area of climate studies is climate change, and then talk about that. Right? uh, who is responsible for global warming, and what are the measures that can be taken to tackle it? Again, two questions, right? Okay. uh, Governments and individuals are both responsible for climate change. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Right? So same theme, right? Different topics. um, but there are a few questions that might be difficult to answer if you're not already prepared with them, right? Or if you already don't have a very high level of general knowledge, right? Like what is a person's influence on their native region, right? Okay. uh, who do you think is responsible for the over packaging of products, and what can be done to reduce it, right? So these kind of questions you need to be very prepared. Reading fill in the blanks is predictable in the form of the kind of questions that come, right? Not the exact question, but the kind of concepts that they test are the same for both of the fill in the blank types. You should go through the complete Pearson grammar lab, because all your prepositions, your articles, a and the, ago, before, earlier, this, that, pronouns, nouns, all those concepts are tested there. This is an app available on your Android as well as your iPhone. It is known as the Pearson Grammar Lab. It looks like a power button. There are three such apps, and it has A1, A2 level, which is the basic level. So if your English is very weak, start with that. B1, B2 level is the intermediate level. If you are looking for a 65 on your PTE 65 plus, go for that. C1, C2 level is what you should be going for if you are looking for a score of 79 and above, right? So predictable questions, please make use of this material that is already available to you in the market on online, right? And with also us with Veracity mentors. Okay, the last and the most important tip: don't attempt the final test without actually taking a mock test and looking at your mock score report. You're going to spend money, you're going to book a test date, you're going to go and take the test date, but you should know what is the final score you can expect, right? And that too under noisy conditions, because you are not just going to take the test alone. There are going to be other people out there with you taking the test at the same time, speaking at the same time, maybe speaking too loudly, right? Anything can happen in the final test. So you need feedback from someone who has either taken the test, right, or a trainer who can actually guide you about what to expect on the final day, right? PT is actually a test of 3 hours stamina. I can be practicing every day. I can practice one essay every day, one reading passage, multiple choice, one listening question, one speaking question. Everything is good, right? But I never actually sit for 3 hours and take a test, right? Okay, I am not building up that stamina. Therefore, when I go into the test, after 1.5 hours, I am tired. I am so exhausted. My brain is saturated. Now, whatever is happening, I have no idea, right? And therefore, my score suffers, right? So you have to build that 3 hour stamina by taking at least one mock test before you actually go for it, and not just any mock test, right? There are multiple websites with a lot of material available. There is so much material, free material available online, but you should be taking a scored test. The Pearson official website has two scored tests that are available to you for $35 each. You can take those. We at Veracity Mentors have also prepared the tests, and also we use the official test material. We don't use any unofficial test material, right? So you have those official tests that we score for you, right? And you get the scored report. There are total of 15 official tests that we have, and with each test you get the exact score report, just like you get with after your PTE mock test. Okay, and the 15 test pack is for 5,000 rupees. You can avail this if you've already taken the tests on the official Pearson site, test A and B. If you have not taken them, or if you need more than 2 tests, then definitely you can go for this, right? But the main important thing is that you need to build up your 3 hour stamina for the test. Okay, and you need to look at your mock score. Now if I want a score of 79 plus in each, and my mock score is 65 each, then I will know that I'm not ready to take the test, right? Okay, don't just guess. This is something the scored report which is available to you, use it, right? Please know your resources. You have so much help available to you, right? Please take it. Trying to save 5,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees and not going for the scored mock test is a big mistake, right? Because at the end your actual test costs around 11,000 rupees, right? And you don't want to be taking the test multiple times. You don't want to go through this again and again. You want to do it right and do it one time, right? Okay, so that is the only request that I will make. Please take a full length scored test from whichever source that you trust, or if you don't have any access to that, you can definitely contact us, right? But please take a scored test, that is very important, and sit for 3 hours every Saturday, Sunday, and then take the mock test, right? Okay, yeah, that is the end of this session. I hope you found these score boosting tips quite helpful. If you apply this now and now take a mock score, write a mock test and look at your score report, you will actually definitely find a point jump. You will actually see the improvement at the same level of English as you are at right now. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much.